Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Zenkai for the green Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and just how good it is and how you can get it and who will benefit from it. Now obviously Gogeta benefits from it, and I think everyone, safe to say, is probably as hype as ever. This is one of those Zenkais for Legends Limited that everyone hopes is good, because everyone prays that the only real SS4 Gogeta gets a big boost. Now his ultimate skill doesn't look like it's changed significantly. Essentially it still functions the exact same way with no real adjustments at all to it, but still was a very good ultimate skill already, so nothing too wild. Next we get to the special move, and there was a slight change from a 30% special damage inflicted increase to a 40%, and the rest has remained the same. So drawing a special move arts card, restore key by 50, and cannot be nullified by most other special moves is also a pretty nice touch. When it comes down to the main ability, there has been pretty much a minor change. We now get 35% HP back, which is obviously pretty important, and then we also obviously still maintain our nullification and increased arts card draw speed, which has all remained the same. In terms of the special skill, the Kamehameha, it's now a 30% increased damage inflicted for 20 timer counts, which is pretty good, and we obviously still have the nullification of special cover change. We will now destroy all cards as always, and we will cancel enemies' attribute upgrades up to 3 times instead of 2 times, which is all pretty good. In terms of the Zenkai ability boost, we have Green and Fusion Warrior, who really only benefits probably one significant unit, being the Green Gogeta and Paikuhan, who released just before the Legends Fest. Now in terms of the passive, we have plus 80% to damage inflicted now instead of plus 60%, and basically all relatively the same kind of from there. So we have an additional 30% damage reduction, which is nice, and plus 50% to damage inflicted, which is all really quite good. So everything kind of comes together quite nicely. In terms of the unparalleled fusion, here nothing too much as well. This is just basically the cover change mechanism, and yeah, nothing really crazy changed here. It's all really remained the same. However, we've now gained a ability to seal one card slot randomly, which is pretty good, and we now inflict an attribute downgrade as well, which is, I would say, pretty nice change, and kind of gives them a little bit more tempo control, which we realistically need overall. We still have the effects when enemies revive, and so in general I would say we're sitting in a pretty good situation with him as a unit. I think the buffs so far have been good, considerate buffs that make him better. Definitely nice damage increases, some good utility changes just to give him a little bit more control in the current meta, where there's been some changes in how tempo works and everything, so just good stuff overall. Now we have the 2 new passives, starting with an aura worthy of the strongest. If the enemy HP is 50% or below, we restore our key and we apply an attribute upgrade basically to ourselves to allow us to finish them off. And if there are 2 defeated enemy battle members, we basically get another ultimate arts card, huge crit rate buff, and nullify enemy destroy card effects. So basically we guaranteed to have that big ultimate ability pop off. And then we get the next passive, which basically applies some healing to GT or tag fusion characters when you're switched, which is pretty good. A nice buff to them as well, and essentially a buff to yourself when they are defeated. Now of course obtaining his Zenkai Awakening power is pretty straightforward, because he's a Legends Limited character. You cannot buy a booster. However, you can do the Zenkai Rush battle, which will drop 3,000, and completing his missions, which will drop another 4,000. All good stuff, all in all. Then of course we also have the ability to summon for the Zenkai Awakening power if you're that way inclined. However, I obviously don't suggest it, just because it's not really something you want to do. It's quite a large use of chrono crystals, so ideally you don't really want to summon for it. but you can if you must. The Zenkai Rush battle will of course cover in another video, the team build and everything that you need to use there, but there are battle bonus characters, so you can take a look at that. And then alongside that as well, the missions that you can complete. However, these are very straightforward and just basically require you to participate in the game. Things like limited time rewards, completing daily missions, and essentially just knocking out some enemies or using certain types of units. It's not anything too wild, it's just something you need to consider using, basically. At that point, it's pretty much everything you need to know. Honestly speaking, there's not too much else more to cover. I think overall his Zenkais are really good. There will be some more buffs to the GT category as well during the course of the GT episode campaign, so we should see a pretty nice boost in his usability and flexibility with his team. With that being said, that should cover everything we need to know. Obviously, like I said, you can summon for him if you need to. And talking about specifically the units that benefit from his Zenkai, there's only really like 2 units that benefit from his Zenkai overall. The major one being the green Paikuhan Gogeta Revive unit, obviously a unit that recently came out, so it's a nice little Zenkai boost for them. They ran on Fusion Warrior. And then of course we also have the boost, I guess, for Kefla. And then I guess for the other Zenkai Gogeta, who's more a boost unit anyway. And then of course Super 17, who luckily gives a Zenkai boost back to Gogeta. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. Obviously the big one being Paikuhan and Gogeta, but we'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, that's basically it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.